Infinite Gateway. This is Asia, part 2. This is Duality of Spirituality, because this is very important, because this is what trips a lot of people up when it comes to understanding spirituality. And so I want to make two statements, okay? So spirituality is not a religious system. Number 2, spirituality is a religious system. Okay, number 1, spirituality is not a religious system. Number 2, spirituality is a religious system. Okay, so what I mean by that? So, I just went over the definition of spirit, which is related to the soul and related to life. Okay, they're synonymous. One represents the other because that is the root of the definition of spirit. It's its state of being, it's its existence. And spirituality, by identification and definition, is by means of breath. So, if that is the definition of spirituality, by means of breath, then that means spirituality is not a religious system. It is existing by means of breath. Number 2, spirituality is a religious or belief system. I'm going to identify that because people believe that it is. People are practicing different type of spiritual systems. That's how people are existing in life, by practicing those things. So it is also existing as well as it really not existing. Both things exist at the same time. It's duality, because we just identified that spirituality is not a belief system or religious system. And it also is. You feel me? Because spirit just is, right? But spirit is also composed of different systems. And what man has done is formulated systems off of existence. And we do that in many areas of our lives. And then they turn into belief systems for many different reasons. For many different reasons. But this isn't necessarily something you should have to believe in if you know, right? If you know, there's really no reason to believe. And that's why I feel that belief is really reserved for yourself, especially when believing in yourself. Because that's not what a lot of people practice these days, is believing in yourself. And it's very important to existing. So, we all have our many different systems. We have our individual systems. We have our ways of doing things. We get up at certain times. We go to sleep. We go to work. We do this. We take this. Feel me? We have our own systems, and there's systems happening outside of us, which is really supposed to be the forces of natural systems, okay? But we as men, we have built our own systems outside of us. So when it comes to spirituality, I hope we can find some common understanding that because I am spiritual, I practice my own systems of connecting to spirit. That does not make me the devil. Okay? This is something we all have the ability to do, but most don't recognize that, either because they don't know better to, or they don't care. And this is a system you're going to have to care about if you want to be a part of it, period. So there's many different ways, not necessarily ways, but many different belief systems out there, which everybody's free to choose. That's why we have liberty. It's because we have freedom of belief. Nobody can take that away from you, right? Can't nobody tell you what to believe in. And you sure as hell shouldn't just be giving that power away, especially when it comes to other spirits. Because that's when things get dangerous. We can see many examples in life with that, because people don't even trust their neighbors. Don't trust people in their family. But you gonna give your belief, you gonna believe in who? There's some things you can believe, you choose to believe in, but there's also a lot that you can know. We're actually coming out of the time of belief. Pisces. We're coming out of the age of belief. We believe. I don't know if you can see that. But we're now into the age of Aquarius, where we know. Belief is very powerful, and so is knowing. Because through that, you're able to have wisdom. And knowing what spirit is very important. To know for yourself and know that you are part of spirit. Spirit is happening all around you every day. I mean, like, why? There's no reason to be scared of yourself. You are spirit. If you didn't know. And if you did know, this is a way for us to be able to connect to each other by knowing that spirituality is expressed in many different ways, because we have many different expressions of spirit. So it doesn't look a certain way, it doesn't act a certain way. Okay, that's up to the actual being, the actual individual, and the fruit that they produce as individuals. Okay, because you can see, you notice the difference between someone being in their higher natures and their lower natures by their behaviors, their actions, their animations. That lets you know where that spirit is in their being, in their existence, right? There's many different identifications to what spirit is doing. And it's not nothing that we need to be afraid of. We all are. And it's time for us to ascend in knowledge, because the lack of knowing spirit and the lack of taking care of our spiritual natures and our spiritual beings is devastating this earth. I thought this was about extending life and not in the ways of a vaccine, because what is a vaccine to Mother Nature? And Mother Nature knows how to cleanse, okay? She don't need nobody to get no vaccine to cleanse. Do what you want, but just understand that there's a bigger part of life. And if we're going to do something about it, then we got to have an understanding of what this is, how knowledge is very much power, because it changes the way that we can relate to each other and respecting each other as spiritual beings. Like, I have no judgment for wherever people are. If you're in a religious system, that's your choice, because there's many different paths. We're all on our own individual path. But there are people that are ready to step into their paths. And this is what I'm here for. for those who want to step in on their spiritual path, connect to spirit, figuring out what we could do as individuals to make this world a better place. And the best thing that we can do as individuals is take care of our own spirits, take responsibilities for ourselves, because once we do that, we're going to do what we need to do for everybody else. That's real spirituality. Spirituality is a religious system also, because there are many people practicing different spiritual systems. Spiritual systems do exist. They exist. So that's what duality is. It is and it isn't, all at the same time. I hope that makes sense. But spirituality, some people just practice spirituality. They don't necessarily have belief systems. And they're not supposed to, it's like it's unwise to judge somebody by their connection to spirit, because everybody should have their own connection to spirit, and therefore you probably wouldn't be judging somebody else's. Duality of spirituality.